Okay, it's my turn. So I'm going to begin by saying I almost don't want to say anything today. And the reason is I'm going to not get to talk about everyone I want to. I'm not going to get to mention everyone I should. And so let me just set that out from the beginning. If you walk out of here today and say, well, does Dennis know how much I've supported him? He didn't say that today. I do. And I want to guarantee you for the next week and month, I'm going to be driving down the road and I'm going to say, I cannot believe I didn't mention that person. I cannot believe I didn't thank that person. So I thank everybody. But I want to begin where I should, which is Governor Abbott. And I want to be clear, the governor's going to try and hang in there, but he's got another event. And if you have to move on, I appreciate your being here. But Governor Abbott and Greg spoke to it well. I used to say that my career began at the top and went down from there because George W. Bush was the governor of Texas. And there was just an energy in the legislature with Governor Bush. Well, I'm wrong. I ended on top because I was simply in the shadows of that energy of Governor Bush, and I admire him tremendously. But to have gotten to be in the room with Governor Abbott was extraordinary. And I don't want to bring bad memories, but I will never forget the tragic Santa Fe. Greg was here in Lake Jackson seeing patients, so I went with him to Santa Fe. Governor Abbott made it to Santa Fe by noon that day. And we were in a small sub locker room, tiny room, Brazosport baseball t-shirt in there, folks. Governor Abbott's in there and we're being briefed by all the federal and state agents. And Governor came so quickly, he didn't even have his staff, full staff. And they said, well, here's this and that. And the governor says, give me a pen, give me something to write on. And he's writing and he's asking, and I jump in because he didn't have any staff. And I said, no, that number, what's the right number? We can't have a kinda. And I think Greg or someone were walking out and says, well, why'd you jump in and ask for clarity? I said, because watch, he's taking control. And he did. When others would say, I need to come in and be polite and respectful and do the appropriate thing and get out of this tragic situation, Governor Abbott took the lead. Later that day, we'd gone to see families. We did all kinds of things of support. We huddled back up. I won't go into the issue because it's tragic. But there was an issue that was not being resolved. And Governor Abbott said, I am staying in this room, and I am going to have the state's attorney general on the phone, and I am quoting law to you as how you're going to take care of these families now. And I'm going nowhere till that's done. That is who you want your governor to be. And it is an honor to have served with Governor Abbott and supported him all these years because he has compassion for the people. And he makes this all better because the truth of it is I can be candid. And I'm not afraid to say things to people. But what I love about Governor Abbott is he challenges you too, because he's one of the smartest men in Texas. He's an intellectual, and he's curious, and he wants to know. But Governor Abbott, thank you for being here today. Thank you for serving with me and letting me be in your orbit. He would call me on random moments of the day. What do you need down there, Hurricane Harvey? What do you need? I don't know. It's not worth it. But how many counties, how many visits he made to Dade Phelan, Dennis Bonnen, amazing. Anyway, I don't want to go on and on, but Governor Abbott, we're lucky to have you. And Speaker Phelan, I want to be clear for those of you here, to be the chair of state affairs in your third term is a little unusual, but it's not if you're Dade Phelan because he is one of the most talented and capable members. And one of the things that was important to me as Speaker is that I put the right people with the right talent and the right perspective in the right places. And Dade Phelan is that guy. And Dade Phelan says, well, someone asked him how you become Speaker. Candidly, it's really hard, but it's sort of easy. Because at the end of the day, there are a lot of awesome people in the Texas House. but there are really only a few that are the clear leader. And who really it is to be speaker on all speakers. Who do the members that don't believe they are there soon enough that they will get a chairmanship or they will get this, they will vote for who they believe will be fair and respectful of all the members. And that's who Dade Phelan has proven to be and will continue to be. And I'm proud he's my friend, and I'm proud he's the Speaker of the Texas House, and I'm proud to have you here today. It means a lot that you would take the time. And I want to talk to the members. It honors me beyond belief for every one of you to be here. And, you know, I don't miss being elected, but I miss the relationships. And I don't want to lecture in any way. Don't take it like that. But the only regrets that I have are the members I didn't get to know personally soon enough. And let me talk about that, because it's what I'd encourage all of you to think about and to work on. Senator, where are you? I can't, the room's too scattered. But anyway, Cesar Blanco. I'm going to be candid, Cesar. You and I didn't like each other. No, we didn't. We didn't. He did not like me, and I didn't like him. But we didn't know each other. We made a massive mistake. We let it be about politics and not about people. And when he and I got to know each other, the people, not the politics, we're dear friends. He's an awesome person. We went from wanting to fight each other in the middle of the House floor to my calling you in concern and compassion for you being an extraordinary leader for your community after the tragedy of the Walmart shootings. He would not stop. He literally wasn't sleeping. That's what we all do. I'm begging us all, remember the personal, not the politics. Where's Armando Wally? Armando saw me as the jerk guy who did border security. And he was right. And then we found out that we had this weird relationship of my college roommate, which I think Armando still thinks we're lying, that Juan Guerra was my college roommate. But we got to know each other. And Armando opened up to me about who he was as a person, and I opened up to him about who I was. And he's awesome. And we still disagree on policy. We still disagree on politics, but we now see each other as people. And we know that we're all there for the same reason, the passion of serving our constituents. And so I would beg all members to keep in mind, get to know the person, not the politics, because then you can resolve these other issues. One of my proudest moments as Speaker is Briscoe Kane. Where's Briscoe? So Briscoe came to me after I scolded him for doing a really poor job on the floor one day, quite candidly, Briscoe. He didn't act appropriately. He was a little hard on a colleague. And I said, you got to do this the right way, man. And Briscoe says, well, no one's told me the right way. And so again, Briscoe and I got to know each other as people. And he said, look, Mr. Speaker, no one really understands me. I'm autistic. And I don't know how to help people know that. And I said, do you mind if I work on that? He says, oh, I would love it. I said, can I talk to my staff? He says, absolutely. So Kate, let me be clear. If you worked for me and you weren't married, you don't get to change your name. So Kate Meisenheimer, we were in a roundtable talk about this, and Kate comes to me a few weeks later and says, April is Autism Awareness Month. I said, that's brilliant. Let me go to Representative Kane and see if he would like to do a personal privilege speech so that the members can better understand who he is. And Kate worked with Briscoe, and Briscoe's one of my proudest days. You were awesome. And you explained to the membership what it is to be autistic. And you explain to the members who you are. And you're different, but we're all different. And we now know how to better celebrate your differences. And so I'm proud of those relationships. I think of Justin Holland, who I'm a little disappointed in. Justin, stand up, because it matters that you do this. So, you can sit down now. So I'm a little offended at Justin today, and I plan to say something about him before he offended me. For those of us in the house, we know that Justin Holland, that's like your funeral suit, dude. Justin Holland wears flashy, bright colors. But that wasn't where I meant to go today, but what he did to me hurt. So I got to know Justin as a freshman because I was enamored with his story, because I got to know his story. Justin's father was diagnosed with cancer, correct? He passed away when Justin was just 27. His father was a successful real estate business. Justin, at 27, loses his father, takes the business over, works with his mother, and makes this work. Those are people that you want to work with. And I would have members say to me, I like Holland okay, but he's in a hurry. And I'd say, if your dad died when you were 27 and you had to make all that work, you'd be in a hurry too. And so Justin and young members, he isn't young anymore, he's a damn chair or something now, but gosh. But that's what I miss. I miss getting to know the members and the people. And my only real regret is those I didn't get to know soon enough. And I didn't take that time, because it changes the dynamic of those relationships. I can't not say something today about my dear friend Pancho Navarez. Pancho, I'm so proud you're here today. One of the things that Speaker Phelan has done an extraordinary job, a lot of it has to do with his wife, Kim. We do what our wives tell us most of the time. Mental health and taking care of ourselves. Pancho went through a hellish period in his life. He lost his sister, best friend, right? And he fell into addiction. And I want to be clear why I'm talking about this. And I'm talking to the members as much as anybody. I'm talking to the community too. He picked himself up and got right. And let me tell you, there were a few people who attacked because of politics. The thing that's the honor of a lifetime of being a house member is we always support one another. There are ample people on the outside to attack and criticize and tear down, but we must always support each other. And Pancho is clean and killing it, and I'm so proud you're my friend. So I don't want to go too long. Garen cracks me up. Only Charlie Garen could sit next to me on the House floor. Alan Ritter, my dear friend and former desk mate, no offense, Charlie, he sat with me longer. Only Garen can go from Dennis Bonnen to Tracy King. The most energetic, out of control member. Tracy is the most understated, calm man on the planet. He's one of the most talented members in the house too, by the way. He's just different than the rest of us. He doesn't need the rest of us to know about it. But only Charlie could be the guy who just calmly sits there. But again, it's about the personal. I talked about Briscoe. I see my friend Ron Simmons sitting right here. And I got mad at Ron some of the time. And I'd say, Ron, I'm for my public schools. Why are you against them? Because I'm not against them. Well, let me tell you why I wasn't against them, but got characterized as that. And I learned it. Ron is one of the most devoted fathers you'll ever meet. He has a couple children, but most importantly, he has his son, Daniel. He's severely autistic. Ron never had anything against public schools. He supports them. But he desperately wanted to see changes for autistic children like his. And when I learned that he was doing it out of the passion of a father who'd spent a lifetime caring for his child, it was different. He wasn't trying to tear anyone down. He was trying to build someone up that he understood better than anybody because he's lived it. When we know each other personally, we understand each other. And we don't have to agree, but we can come to a solution with mutual respect. And that's what I miss in the house is the relationships. and I miss the people, and I miss mentoring young members. And I don't want to keep going because I'm going to forget people. And I want to be clear talking to the membership and where I can't keep going, but, you know, I see Jeff Leach, and Jeff, I shouldn't start doing this, but, you know, the members that would send me a text message out of the blue, the members that would give me a phone call out of the blue, say, we're thinking about you, we support you. Thank you. Todd Hunter, thank you. All of you, thank you. Kelly Hancock, one of the first people to say, he can be tough, but he's my friend. Thank you, Senator. And I don't want to not mention my Senator, Joan Huffman, because Joan Huffman is a wonderful, super bright, super talented member of the Senate, and she just had to tolerate my insanity all the time. I mean, senators have to carry like literally, 100 bills? I mean, just, you know, and I'd go over and say, no, it's a local bill, we got to do it. She's like, I know, we will. Okay, we're going to do it. But there's so many things that we've done together, and Senator Hancock, Senator Huffman, you both played a massive role in this. And Speaker Phelan talked about funding the community college and those things. One of the proudest bills we ever passed, and this comes back to Governor Abbott, and it's Senator Huffman, Senator Hancock, it's all of you. It's not school finance reform. That's a huge deal. That's landmark. You know, lots of people played a role. But when I chaired Sunset, I noticed a problem. For the most heinous of offenders, they were being set for parole hearing every 1-2 years. And so I tripped into meeting the Dramolas, and I never say their name right. Their son was very tragically killed by a serial killer in Houston, and there were 2 other perpetrators. So this family, literally from the time their son was tragically killed, was in the continuous parole process of the state of Texas. When Governor Abbott became governor, I sat down and briefed him and his chief of staff, Daniel Hodge, who's here. And I said, we got a problem. And so we finally, it took a couple sessions, we passed it where you could have a 10-year parole set-off. But Senator Huffman, I know you remember this, and Governor Abbott, I hope you do. That same session, we passed border security, big deal, huge stuff. Governor Abbott did a bill signing in Houston. The news was there, they covered it. It was all about it. We did a private bill signing for the Jamalas because Governor Abbott wanted to speak to them personally. Senator Huffman was there speaking to them personally. The day we called and said the governor wants to do a bill signing with you was the day they got their next parole hearing. But guess what? The law had changed. And Mr. Jamala looks at me and says, I don't have to worry about that vicious son of a bitch for 10 more years because of you and Governor Abbott and Senator Huffman and Senator Hancock. That's what matters. Those are the things that make an impact. And that's the personal. It's having the passion for people. And when we remember why each one signed up for this hellish effort of running a campaign, and we remember we all signed up for a lot of the same reasons, and when we reconnect on that, it matters. So let me move on. Staff, and first let me touch a little local. And Speaker Craddock, and where's Jeannie Morrison? Jeannie may have had to run out, but you know, we're here because of them also. The 4-year degree plan was passed by Jeannie Morrison, my helping her, and Speaker Craddock, calling the coordinating board and explaining a novel concept. Law means you follow it. You don't then decide what you want to do later. And Speaker Craddock's been here because he's helped do these things. Thank y'all for being here today. You're a huge part of this. But when we get into the some of the local, Dr. Valak would frustrate me to no end because Dr. Valak would treat me like I was as smart as she was. And we'd go to lunch and she'd say, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? And I just finally say, Mimi, just tell me what I need to do. You know this better than I do. But the vision is Dr. Valak. And she was my partner for 24, 25 years. And this college has been transformed because of her. And she has been an amazing partner to change the lives of the kids and the students here. And it let me look good because she kept giving me things to go accomplish. It's true. And the college is blessed to have had her leadership all those years. And again, talking about people and taking care of each other, Dow Chemical, Freeport LNG, BASF, Olin. Shouldn't have started that process. I apologize. I see my friends at Werner. All these great industries and these great buildings here are awesome. And I've talked about this before, but what makes this community awesome is the amazing people they bring to our community. And I'm just going to be brief on this, but I don't know if Tim Finley was able to be here today. David Lotta, I hope both might have been here. My son Jackson's an Eagle Scout today. He's an Eagle Scout because Dow's water expert. Thank you. No offense to Jackson, he wasn't the star of that story, but he's an Eagle Scout because Dow's expert on water, Tim Finley, was the leader of his Boy Scout troop. And Dow's leader, David Lotta, was the one who made sure he had to check off merit badges and do all that. Those two men shepherded and guided my family and my son to be an Eagle Scout. I don't know exactly the stuff they do at Dow. I mean, I know a little what Tim does, not like he knows it, but he's tried to explain it to me. He's foolish and tries. But I don't know exactly what they do, but I know the profound impact they've had on the Boy Scouts in this community and countless young men. And that's what makes it exceptional, is the people. And so let me talk in closing staff. So Gardner's probably the most abused member of my staff, because when you're working for Dennis Bonnen and you have a title of legal counsel, it's like the crappiest job possible. And so I thank Gardner for the abuse, and he's kind of bizarre. Gardner went from working for me in the hell I could create straight to the governor's office just in the nick of time for COVID. It was perfect. But Gardner, I do thank you. And Gavin, Gavin's here today. Gavin was my chief staff speaker, and Gavin was the guy that when I was a member and I wanted to figure something out, and I knew there was one other guy obsessing over it ridiculously in town, it would be Gavin. And I'd go hang out with Gavin, and I'd be like, all right, show me the whiteboard. I got it. And Mark Bell, won't go into it, but Mark Bell, what you've done for our family, and really all of you, but Mark, for our family, just a touch. We had a tragedy in our family. If Mark moved in for 2 weeks and took over, no one does that, but Mark did. He will always be a part of our family. Every person who's ever worked for me will always be a part of our family, because you become a part of that. I should mention Burroughs. I mean, he is forgettable though, isn't he? I got to tell one Burroughs story. Actually, not one, the one. 2017, not trying to be funny, nothing funny about this, but it is funny. Our father passes away. The funeral is April 2nd or 3rd, and these members come walking up the sidewalk. Craig Goldman, Ron Simmons, Drew Springer, Comptroller Hager, and I look at Greg. We're standing there in front of the church in Danbury, and I say, do you think it's odd that Hager had his travel aid come to the service? And Greg says, no, Dennis, that's not his travel aid. That's Representative Burroughs. He sits in the back with us. True story. Early April of 17, let me just put the timeline together here. He's then orchestrating my speaker run a few months later, and then is the chairman of Ways and Means. I didn't know who the hell he was in March. So anyway, I love Dustin Burroughs. Speaker Phelan, you're lucky. I don't think there's a more loyal human on earth. And I think Dustin Burroughs would rather get shot 100 times than not be loyal to his speaker. And I had that, and you now have that. But Dustin and Elizabeth, we appreciate you immensely. I'm going to stop because I have other members I should mention, but I won't. So, my mother did not love the idea of me running because she and my father were protective. I was 23, turning 24, and they were afraid that it would be a horrible experience. Little do they know that all happened in the end, not in the beginning. But the truth of it is, what's awesome about my mother and father is that they never told me that. Greg had to tell me after it was all over. When their children said, we're going to do something, they supported every way they knew how so that you could. And the reason I'm standing here today, plain and simple, is because I didn't campaign for one moment of one day in Angleton. You know where my highest vote percent was? It was in Angleton because of David and Martina Bonnen. They were voting for them, and that says it all. I have an amazing family. Y'all have alluded to it today. Kim never signed up for this, but I like to say Kim was the absolute perfect political spouse. She never became enamored with it, supported it, but boy, was she ready whenever it could end. But she was always there. And people have said nice things, and I'm a good father and a good husband, but I'll be candid. There were times when I wasn't. I over-prioritized the legislature and the constituents. And, you know, and I say that because I feel bad about it, but I also say it as a cautionary tale. That event in the district, that phone call back to a member, it's not going to make or break you. But when it's over, all that's left is your family. They're what matter. Now, I'm going to say this because I care about this, and it's a passion of mine. Speaker Phelan has 4 young boys. You are never not the Speaker of the House. I could be a member of the House, and I'd come home, and I just kind of did stuff, and I could be a father, and I could do stuff. You're never not the Speaker. It never stops, does it? Never. Give him a damn break. Seriously. Thank you. I mean, how many members has the Speaker been to your district, or you've asked him to be your district in the last 6 and the next 6 months, huh? Yeah. Well, that's just one day he's not at home. It's a hell of a tough job. He does a great job. Support him. Okay. So, Jackson and Gregory, I love y'all dearly. I'm very, very proud of you. Mike and Gil, I got to tell a quick funny story. Kim and I met in my second session. She was living with her sister, who can stir a little hell if she wants to, and her friend from home. So they tell Mike and Gil that Kim is dating a member of the legislature. So Kim comes across the hall. She was working for Tommy Merritt, one of the craziest people to ever serve in the House. And she says, my parents would like to meet you. You know, would you come meet them sometime? I said, yeah, no, I can do that. She goes, okay, they'll be here today. We need to meet them at the Four Seasons bar, and then we're going to have dinner. I said, today now? She goes, yeah, it's going to be okay, but they heard I was dating some state rep, and they're kind of frightened. And so I think they showed up, and I'm not saying they were completely at ease, but they were elated it wasn't like Charlie Guerin or something like that. You know, I mean, you know, I think Mike and Gail thought that, you know, the 50-year-old state rep had, you know, cast a spell. And again, I don't want to misrepresent Mike and Gail here. They weren't just thrilled with the situation, but they were relieved with the situation, okay? But Mike and Gail have always supported me and supported Kim and have done things that if they weren't willing to do would have made this so much harder for us. And so thank y'all for always going along with the party. My sister is here. Penelope Eleni. Greg is slightly undersold her because I think even Greg can't understand or explain what she really does. But she runs a lab where they diagnose and figure out childhood genetics and their illnesses and things. And basically the people at Baylor tell me she's brilliant, and I couldn't get to the level to diagnose that myself, so I take their word for it. But we're thrilled you're here with your boys. And so I need to close. I do see my friend Tom Selleck. Do I see my friend Tom? And Tom Selleck's a real person. He's actually the Brazoria County DA appointed by Governor Abbott. He's not a movie star. He's the real thing. But Tom Selleck, I love seeing you today. Again, I didn't know Tom Selleck very well, and then I got to know him. He's awesome. He's a first-class human being, and we're lucky he's the DA in Brazoria County. All right, let me close with this. And I think everyone's sitting here. I'm not done. Time out. I'm going to close. It doesn't mean I closed. So appreciate everyone who's ever worked for me. And you're thinking, but there's somebody else. Kim, would you please come up? Shara, would you please come up? So there's a building over there with my name on it. And Daniel Hodge would argue that his name should be on it because when I was in those battles solving the end of the session with the governor and everyone else, the Senate would hold not Senator Huffman, but the Senate would hold some of my local legislation up. And the chief of staff to the governor would have to go pass my local bills in the Senate. And what I would explain to him is I was doing the big stuff. He had to do the small stuff. But anyway, but my name wouldn't be on that building if Shara didn't do the things that she did. So it would be inappropriate for her not to be a part of the history of Brazosport College. So I'm going to do two things, and then I'm finished. So let me have this. Here you go, Kim. So today, we're making a $50,000 donation to the Brazosport College Foundation in Shara's honor to, thank you. I have one more thing, and that will endow scholarships for students in her name here at Brazosport College forever, because she should be a part of forever at Brazosport College. Now, where's Andrea? Where's Andrea? And I apologize, Andrea, I didn't tell you I was going to make you come up here, but you're going to come up here. So Andrea Sheridan, who's like the education expert for many speakers, and then the University of Texas pulled her into their government affairs. Shara has one monumental flaw. You would think a girl from rural Texas would understand, like, why would you go to the University of Texas? But she did. So Shara went to the University of Texas, so I don't want to disrespect that. So the other thing that we're doing today, Shara, is Andrea, because she's amazing, because you know, Shara, I always think way ahead and I plan long things out, right? I don't do them the day before. So I called Andrea Sheridan yesterday and I said, hey, what if I gave UT $50,000? Could they do an endowment where we could have the Shara Eichler legislative intern every session? And they could be a student from UT. So we're doing another $50,000 to UT, and that will be the Shara Eichler legislative intern. Because Shara trains and teaches all the different staff and all the kids that come through there. I've missed people. I've had things I wanted to say. I should have said more. The final thing I will tell you, one of the greatest privileges ever was serving in the House with my brother. And one of the things I'm most proud of is that I don't serve in the House with my brother anymore. Sounds funny, but it's true. Because Greg deserves to be himself and to not have his younger brother who got there before him. Being candid, people couldn't screw with me by the time Greg showed up, so they screwed with him. Well, now they can't screw with him. And Greg deserves that. And it was an honor to serve with my brother, but I'm even more proud to get to see him serve without me. Final thing, talking about the dyslexia, Marilyn Osborne is here today. She sent me a note when I became speaker. I'm not going to read all of it, just a piece. I think back now to the little boy who used to stand at the blackboard in my kitchen and wrote words as big as he could or find pictures in a magazine that had the beginning sound we were working with that day. What if we said to ourselves, we have to get this right because he will be Speaker of the Texas House someday. Amazing. Brazosport ISD, Danny Massey, Dr. Valek, all the educators here, you change children's lives. You don't know what they're going to be someday, but you invest your time, your energy, your heart. Marilyn Osborne had the privilege of not being my teacher. She did the crazier thing is she chose to be my tutor. Teachers didn't get to choose to be my teacher. She actually chose to be my tutor, and both are really hard to do. But thank you for your beautiful note. And the truth is, if we invest in each other, we know each other, we care about each other as people, we will all be better, and the problems that we want to solve, because we're all here because we're problem solvers, will be solved more effectively and more positively for the people of Texas. I'm honored to be here today and to be privileged with the building. Thank all of you for being here. Thank you.